I found it very, a little humiliating to realize that we were so inept. And these days, we're a better band. We've learned our craft. And therein lies a huge danger, which is there's a giant chasm between the very good and the great. And U2 right now has a danger of surrendering to the very good.
The audience starts the movie with a relationship with these guys. Everyone who came into the movie last night was bringing the first chapter of the story to the movie. And so the movie has to fight against that baggage that people bring in, that the audience brings in. And so these audio interviews are an attempt to, interesting, what's effective is taking you off camera and keeping those interviews very stripped down and very raw and unself-conscious. So that in fact, the first person on camera is Eno, I believe, and it's a good 20 minutes in, and that's intentional. So the audience has when you talk about writing, goes from the feeling of these characters, as opposed to, the idea of these characters.
I think taking risks for us always seems to become a fruitful thing, and that's the way we operate generally anyway, but it was never more evident than on this particular project that playing it safe is the scariest thing that we could ever consider, and the riskier it seems, the better in terms of the results for us.
I was asking the question to myself why we might have agreed to this film, having spent our whole life consciously ignoring anything we did yesterday, let alone 10 or 20 years ago. And I think that we agreed to this because we're at that moment again where U2 has dodged being irrelevant. Well, U2's been on the verge of irrelevance for the last 20 years. Dodged, ducked, dived, made some great work. I hope along the way, and occasional faux pas. But this moment now, where we're at, for me, feels like really close to the edge of irrelevance. And we can be successful, and we can play, the big music in big places, but whether we can play this small music, meaning for small speakers of the radio or the clubs or where people are living right now, remains to be seen.